Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, I hope we are all well. Really, when Rita said I'm going to discuss and share tips, I think the main point is we are going to share and listen from each other. Maybe I'll guide the discussion, of course, share a few tips, but we are all on this journey of achieving our financial goals and also the things we want to achieve. Most of them, or 90% of them, are based on having money. And this wealth that we want to create definitely starts from somewhere. So just going to share just a few things about personal finance. And maybe Rita had also mentioned that I can help a bit with budgeting. That is, if that is something that you ladies would want to know. And then we will go on from there. Yes, so of course, personal financing is it's wide. It's not easy, but something we have to if you're to go anywhere. Anyway, things are based on money. So what you're looking at for personal finance is just really, it's in simple terms, on how we plan and budget for our money, basically how you spend it and how it is saved. I'm going to try and make it like these topics. Of course, I know we've come face to face with them, but sometimes you think they're just for the books. I just want to simplify them as much as possible. Yes. So in regards to personal finance, there are like just a few, I think there are like about 4 things or 5 that you consider that are the main guiding factors, and that is our money or income, to start with, because everything, whether you're going to save, whether you're going to invest, what you're going to spend, is money. That's where it starts. So it's basically money, then our savings, our spending, investing, and how we protect it. Those are the 5 like I would say components that you're looking at in terms of personal finance. So when we, as regards to income, you're looking at the money that you have. You have to know, you have to start the day or a month knowing how much money you have or how much money you're starting with. For example, just started the year, how much money did you start the year with? Because that is what you're going to either grow or spend. That's where it starts. So money comes in all forms: your side hustles, your salary, allowances, miracle money, or contributions that come to you. All those are factored under that. And then, of course, spending, what we spend on our goals. Sometimes you're spending on rent, if you have school fees, if you have a family, if you have parents you're taking care of, generally, all those, that's another component. That's another component of personal finance. And then savings. This is money you set aside. Other people think that it is money you set aside after expenditure, but that is such a wrong mindset. It is money you also budget for to save. For me, what I do is every money that comes in, even when you give me 10,000, I should save a certain amount, even if it's 1,000 or 500 shillings. It is something I have cultivated over time, and I have seen that it helps, because a lot of money goes through your hands. And if you keep thinking, I'll save on the salary or on the allowance, like money that's kind of defined, I found that as a challenge. So what has helped me over time is every money that comes in, is I purpose to save a certain amount on it. So yes, saving saving is one of those really, really crucial things. It's one way we are going to achieve our goals. Even when you're going to invest, the starting point is saving. Even when you're going to go and get credit or a loan to buy something, they will not give you without anything. And so saving is very, very crucial. The other component is investment. On how to invest, I guess Rita will give us a specialist on investing. But yes, saving alone, your money won't grow. But it's giving you a starting point. Saving is like capital that helps. It's what gives you the starting point to start investing. If you want to grow your wealth, it starts from somewhere. And then the other thing would be protection. And protection are basically, these are methods you have to put in place to protect or to guard yourself against unexpected events, sickness, job loss. A guardian, you can lose a parent, and then you take on the responsibility maybe of your siblings. So all these things you put in place to protect the wealth you're accumulating as something you have to figure out. So basically, those are the main things about personal finance that you have to factor in. So I'm going to go to saving, as I want to dwell a bit on saving a bit, then we'll go on budgeting. I hope we are clear. Are we together?
Yes, we are together.
Okay. So saving is in, I would say for me, I put it in three ways. There's saving for expenditures, and then there is saving for investment, and then there's saving for like a rainy day, or like what I would call the emergency fund. That is how I divide my savings. So saving for expenditures, like I know I will have to pay rent. I know I have bills, so I have to save towards that. And then according to the other part is saving for investment, and that is like the things I want to do. You want to buy land, you want to invest you want to start a business that will need capital. So I also save towards that in different places. It's not all in one batch. Like I don't have one account that says that is where I am saving, because that I have found very tempting to just keep withdrawing. So I have a separate emergency account. I have a separate account for investment, and I have a separate account for saving for expenditure. And for saving for expenditure, I use the envelope system. I don't know if some of you have heard of it. I write all most of my expenses have envelopes, like rent, my home bills, my school, things like that. I have a child, so I have an envelope for high expenses. So when money comes, I distribute it a certain, not even just percentages, but a certain amount. I distribute it accordingly, like in that. So that way, that helps me plan better and manage the small money that has come. Yes, then of course, for saving, I don't know if some of us have struggles. Of course, you start mpola mpola. If you have a problem keeping money, a piggy bank is one way, because you keep it somewhere else where you're just putting money or putting in an account where you can't easily withdraw. I discourage, if you're still establishing the discipline of learning how to save, it's not a good idea to save on a savings account, because that's money that you can easily access. So you can save maybe in a circle. You can save somewhere where you won't easily access that money, because remember, you're trying to establish that discipline. Eventually, when you have learned and it's not something you struggle with, then it's okay to either keep it around you or put in an account, even if you can access it, and you won't have a struggle with it. And then also, I think tips on how to manage savings is, one is to first know who you are your like come to terms with your level of income and your season, and accept that like very early in life, don't move with what everybody is going with, because the pressures, the expenses will always be there, like social life, yeah, either the pressure to please, depending on what your personality is. If you don't get comfortable, like and get to know who you are very early, you will suffer and spend so much money sometimes because of things that are unplanned, because you're going with the flow, yet you have your own journey. Remember that the money you have is yours. You're not living for other people, so you don't know their finances. So for me, the thing I have accepted is who I am, the money I have, and so I budget with that. Like I live within that. I attend, or you not like not everything you can attend, and be comfortable. Like don't even feel bad about it. So that is how I've at least you manage to start slowly. Don't be on pressure, but at least try to put a monthly or a weekly. I do weekly. I start, let me say for me, every Monday, I empty my bag and I remove all the coins. And when I'm putting the coins, I look at the coins, I'm like, I think I can add some 5K and I put either in the piggy bank and start the week afresh, like just those small monies. So there are many ways that I'm sure the rest of you will also be sharing, but if you start saving weekly, depending on your finances, on your inflow, especially if you have some monies that you're getting in the week, try to say at least I will save a certain amount of money. Don't be looking at huge amounts, because I've realized when you say you want to have I don't know how many millions, that thing is very scary. So you keep saying, when I get big money, but there is power, guys. There's so much power in small money saved consistently. Like what's going to help is consistency. What's going to help is discipline. If you haven't established that kind of discipline, even when God opens doors and they're big doors, still your money will disappear, because you keep thinking that there is bigger. There'll be more money that will come. It's like how you keep some of the things that I've found challenging in life is not knowing your season of plenty and your season of lack. Sometimes when the season changes is when you realize, I was actually in my season of plenty. I think now I've entered that direction, and you're like, I should have planned better. So so you have to find a way of you have to navigate these things properly and cultivate the discipline. Anyway, that's the main point, and be consistent. Don't wait for a big break. Let the big break surprise you or come when you've established. It's even better when you have established finance, when you have already established a saving culture. So for example, you see, like there are some people who they compensate, let me say, when they are building roads, or their land has been taken and they eventually compensate, and you realize that those people, most of them, never go back to the financial the financial place that you think they would have grown even better. But sometimes they do not, because that lump sum money without discipline instead destroys them, because you keep thinking, I have a lot of money, so you spend, and by the time you wake up, money is done. But because you had not cultivated that part of, I need to save some money. Yes, as much as possible, try to live within your means. I know many people give percentages of when you earn this money, save this much, but it's why I say that you have to know you, is because some percentages don't work, especially for some of us who don't earn a lot of money. Like imagine, the percentage. Motivational speakers will tell you, don't rent a house that you cannot pay, that your salary can't pay 6 months in advance. hey, where do people stay and how much money do they earn? And how secure, because those are all things you're factoring in. So sometimes you're wondering these percentages. That's why I'm emphasizing, like, know your income and then work accordingly, because seasons help you to say, in this season of my life, a lot of my money is going to go to rent. That means I cannot afford to wake up late and use a border. Like, that means I'm going to wake up and walk a certain distance and get a taxi. Like, it's the small things, like the book we are reading. It's those small things you're looking at. Where can I be able to save? If I get a lift from so and so, I'll be able to, that money will do something else. If I'm able to do things in time, if I'm able, what are the benefits I'm getting from a certain place? Maybe I'm taking on a job. It may earn little, but what other benefits is it coming with? It's probably, maybe it's offering to take care of your children, like maybe 3 of your kids. So when you look, you're like, in 3 years, I may not be able to afford the school fees, but the job is taking care of that. So it's something that I can take on. Or I'm thinking of there'll be marriage, there'll be babies along the way, and this job is giving me medical insurance, and I can't afford to save for insurance on my own. So those are some of the things when you're looking for, like, so you factor in those things. That those things also help you save. And then I think that is it about saving. You have to do it small, start small, but be consistent. Being consistent will do all the wonders at the end of the year. If you start now and keep track of your finances, by the time 2024 ends, you'll be surprised at the changes you've been able to do. And then I said investing, Rita will get us another person. But yes, there are many places to invest. Of course, after you know your money personality and how you, in fact, your risk, your level, the level of risk you can take, because investment definitely comes with risk. So knowing that, as you save your money, know that you can say, instead of just saving in a bank where your money is not growing, in fact, it's reducing, you can put in a unit trust. You can put in a circle. They are small. I know that you will say, but those are very small interest that you earn, but it's better than it reducing. For me, that's always my target. The money should increase instead of reducing if I'm keeping money somewhere. So you can keep your money in many things. You can keep your money in land. You can keep your money in unit trusts. You can buy, if you're those really risk averse people, you can you invest in government. Those are the treasury bills and bonds, because they are the safest. Or you can do a fixed account and earn some money. It helps you also establish the thing of where you want to spend, because that money won't be given to you until a certain time. So I will go to the other component that is also, I find very important, is protection. That is protecting your money, protecting, in a way to preserve your wealth or preserve your money. So as we are starting out, of course, there's insurance. There's retirement planning, because retirement planning starts now. It doesn't start when they start giving you those reminders that you're about to reach the age of retirement. So picture how your life, what kind of life you would like in your retirement. The there's estate planning. How are you going to manage the things you're putting in place? I've seen that there are older people who have put everything in place, like they've built rentals, they have, saved properly in terms of investing, but then they have not thought of something they'll be doing to engage their brain. Because imagine all you did invest was investing in rentals. Like, are you going to be lecturing your tenants? No. Yes, the money will be coming in, but there's nothing engaging your brain. You have not established maybe partnerships, things like that. So there are things you have to look at. But now, most importantly, in the short term, you must have an emergency fund. That, like, at the very least, should there be a sudden change in your finances, like lose a job abruptly, you should be able to, you and your household should be able to stay the same way at least for 3 months. Like, you shouldn't lose a job and your child is changing school the next month. Like, at least you should have school fees for the next term, things like that. And that emergency fund that's what you call to be able to maintain your lifestyle, or at least meet the bills, sustain your lifestyle that you've been living for at least 3 months. The goal is for a year. So if you know, let me say you're renting, ideally, as you work towards this goal, ideally you should have rent saved up for a year. Ideally, you should have a medical, your bills, so that in case anything happens, as you know, life happens. You wake up suddenly and maybe, the main person, maybe you have a partner and they've been the core provider and they get an accident. So and that emergency fund helps you, even when you, like, I remember when I lost my job, one of my second job, I think. And so it's that thing of, you can't go back home. You left home because it's not a good idea. My mom told me, will you keep coming back home when you lose jobs? That's not what adults do. So that woke me up to, that means it's almost like you're on your own. So you have to have a plan, because at least 3 months at the minimum helps you navigate how to move on. By the time the month is done, you're thinking you've now at least have gotten a plan on, this is how we are going to be, or if you need to change houses, if you need to shift to a cheaper place, if you need to cut down on certain expenses. At least after 1 month, you're also easing the people you are with, or the people that are in your care, you're also easing them into it. So all of us, we should strive to have an emergency fund. And we should know, please, an emergency fund is really for an emergency. Let's not, shopping is not an emergency for clothes. So don't keep borrowing. Sometimes you get money, you're not like, after this money now, the emergency fund has grown, let me get some money off it. And what you're spending on is not even crucial. Just to go to meeting, but is there any question before I take us through a budget?
We are still processing.
That shopping is not an emergency.
Not true.
Oh,
Rita,
I
don't get
don't
it now. I'm
Online
assigning there tomorrow.
shoppers, anonymous.
Thank you, Lily, for reminding me that shopping
Last
is. I
minute
used to think
shopping.
it is. I used to think it is.
It is
Yeah,
not.
drugs
I have
me.
a question.
Yes.
Please, before I doze off. Anyway, so how would you encourage someone to save, someone who doesn't have, okay, let me say someone who doesn't have a job, they want to save, maybe they get money here now and then, naye tebalina your consistent flow okugamba bojja okujja, you save. How would you encourage them? What should they do? Yes, they want to save, but there is no that source where they'll get a assured source, because I feel like it's easier for someone who is working. Natasha is saying, guys, still baby girl. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I missed the last part, please.
I was saying, how would you encourage someone who wants to save, but they don't have an assured source of income coming in? Or let me say, like an example I was saying, for someone who is unemployed and someone who is employed, they have an assurance at the end of the month they're going to get money where they can pick from and save. unlike
Okay.
the other person. So yeah.
Okay. I think I had mentioned it that even if you don't have, like, as long as money is coming into your hands,
Mm,
you deduct and you start slowly. It's not like you're going to start saving consistently to like, properly immediately. But if you put it in your head that if I, like I said, for me, even if you come and give me 10K now, there'll be a zip in my bag that I remove 1K and put that in, so that when I reach home, I can put it in the piggy bank.
mm,
So it's not, because sometimes you're waiting, like I said,
can-
you're waiting for that moment when you start to get income. But then you know that if, like, that's what we're going now to discuss in budgeting and tracking your finances, that sometimes you think when you track your finances, or when you track your expenses, you actually realize that a lot of money has gone through your hands that didn't even come from your job, by the way. Like, you
yeah.
will realize that. But if you, so you the reason you think that being employed or having a source of income is easier, it's because there is money coming in, so you'll just deduct. But even that one, if you have not established this card discipline, you will realize you will struggle. It's like tithe. That's how you end up having that debate of, do I deduct from the net? Do I deduct from the gross? Because you have that, you have not already looked at it that way. The thing I live by is, if I work for 800,000,
Mm,
it means I work for, like, I deduct 160.
okay.
Like, I work for the balance,
Mm,
because the other is tithe, the other is what I'm going to distribute in the three things I told you I'm saving for.
mm,
Yes. So either I'm putting like a 20K in saving for whichever investment I'll think of, or I'm putting like a 20K here, deposit it on bills, like that. But of course, the percentages keep growing. Sometimes you find that I have managed a lot of my expenses that I can save more. But initially, that was my starting point, that if I get 10K, 2K is removed.
Lillian, can I say something
Yes.
to that? Not like from experience or anything, but there's a time I used to work for Pendeza Church, and the people we were working with were like those people you see, those people who sweep the roads, that those KCCA women, they wash, those people you see cleaning malls and buildings, like, when you go shopping, those people that be cleaning and stuff. And those women were saving and building rentals. But anyway, I remember one of the questions that used to come in whenever we would have trainings, was that question where whenever they talk about savings, people would say, that's great for you people who work and it sounds wonderful, but I don't have an income. And I remember this man asked, I forget his name, he's actually spoken to the Primarites before. He teaches a lot on small scale business and whatever. He just asked the person who stood up, he's like, okay, in the last 5-8 years, have you had a job? And the guy said, no, I've never had a salaried job. Then he asked them, have you gone 2 months hungry? Like, you've not eaten for 2 months? And the guy said, no. Okay, 2 weeks. The guy said, no. It's like, yeah, you're definitely not eating exactly what you're dreaming, but you somehow always get money to eat. You somehow always get to go where you want to go. Somehow. So he said, one of the things you need to add is the way you think buying clothes is essential and buying food is essential. Add saving as an essential, not as a by the way. Like, it will change the way you think. You will start to understand that when I have 5K and I'm planning on how to manage to go to church and come back, or manage to get to the place, to the gig I need to the side hustle, make saving one of those. Because if you have managed to not starve to death, if you think about saving as another basic that you're giving money to, it will change the way you think. If you keep thinking about saving as a luxury for rich people or a luxury for salaried people, it will always not be part of what you're thinking of. And I think that changed my mind. I was there as the one who brought the facilitator, and that changed my mind. I remember the first time I had that, I was not earning a salary. I was volunteering with Pendeza. Like I'd go every 4 days and they would only give me transport. And I just feel like I don't have a salary. So I'm not yet ready to save. But I was like, I managed to come to church. I managed to come for those things because in my head, they are part of what. But anyway, so I think that calm mindset also helps in addition to bags with a zip. Natasha's. Anyway, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, thank
Yeah, it's really a lot of these things are, especially money, and it's like, not to be sound motivational speaker, but it's really a mindset issue. Like what you consider priority, you will actually start to see it working. If you think saving is for later when money increases, it will not be part of you. You know, and it gets and it gets harder, like as responsibilities increase. So it's better to cultivate it. Like it's like Liz, it's better to cultivate it when you're not yet married and you don't have a family, than when now you get one. Because the things that are like wanting to take your money are many, and you will never have, you know how you say you'll never have like enough. Like now I've had enough, I can save. That is why most people think they, you know, that thing about 7, what is left? What will be left? Sometimes all you have left are days of the month. Yes, instead of, you know, money. So yes, thank you very much, Becky. I remember sometime, I think in campus after I didn't have a job. Yeah, I survived on choir transport. I would walk home, and then the transport paid my tours. But yes, I think we can now go to our expenses and budget, you know, to tracking our expenditures. So in terms of the budget, we know a budget gives it's like it gives a like a road, a channel to where your money should go, than when you don't, you know, like, you know, when there are many paths, you just go to any destination. But here, when you do a budget, it helps you focus. It helps you direct your money and helps you kind of have a bit of control in terms of how you're planning. And why I thought a budget was very important is because everything we wrote, there are things you want to achieve in 10 years, the things we put in on our vision boards for this year. If you don't put a budget for them, yes, we have faith, but we have to direct this faith. So that is how we do. That's why it's important to have a budget. And then, so in budgeting, there are many ways, but I have found that budgeting annually has helped me put my things into perspective and plan my money better, and even make certain decisions better. Like it helps you not to make emotional decisions. Things like, this house looks nice, I think I should move. And the broker tells you, it's just above your budget by 50K. Or it's just above your budget by 60K. But that's, you know, 60K is 750,000 at the end of the year. Like that is how much your budget is going to change. And that 750,000 is probably money I wanted to use on something else. So I look at things. For me, I do a month, then I will do annually. So just a rough, I am going to assume, I don't know the main expenses for all of us here, but I'm just going to give an overview. You have a rent, I'm assuming if you pay rent, you do that times 12. I thought I had my book for that I could just do a drop. Yes, you do that times 12. Food. How much do you spend on food in a month? Natasha, are you able to tell us?
Monange, when God provides for me, I eat. Sorry, but on a serious note, I've never really budgeted. I eat.
Okay. So we budget for food. So if you're going to have all your meals, breakfast, lunch, supper, you budget for them in terms of how much. But that is what will make sense of your finances. That is what is going to make sense of how much money has come to you. And like money that has gone through your hands. We budget for transport because we move. You budget for medical. You budget for your social life. Please budget for contributions, for outings. Sometimes you don't do that, then along the year, you decide, sorry, just give me a minute. I'm back. But as saying your social life, like you have been praying for your friends to get married, please, if you know you've been praying for your friends to get married, make a budget for it. So that in case, your friend surprises you with the Lord has answered, we are having a wedding. Don't be like, Banenga, you're getting married in a bad season, but you've been praying. So at least have a budget for your contributions. Have a budget for going out, generally everything. Now someone is going to be like, how do you get to that? One way to make a budget that is that you will be able to follow is first begin with tracking your expenses, because that is what is going to inform your other budgets. What I've read for you are mainly overviews, because those are fixed costs. Like if you're already renting, you know how much you're paying. If you know how much you're paying in bills, roughly, you know how much you pay for your car, you know how much you pay for water, you know how much, if you have children, you know how much you're paying in school fees. If you use data, I know you may not know, but please track how much you spend on data. How much do you spend on airtime? How much do you spend on transport? So if you write, do an estimated budget, because maybe, especially if you've not been tracking your finances in the past, then the task I'll give you for January, get a book or an app, and every day write what you have spent on. Every day, and how that money came in, because you don't have, like, if Natasha gave me 50K, and that 50K, I decided to go for a milkshake, like if that money was given to me, not that Natasha has taken me out and paid from her pocket, like Natasha has given me 50,000 shillings. And on that 50,000, I went and bought a milkshake. I used transport. So in your book, you have the inflow and the outflow. So your inflow has been that you got 50K. So that 50K, but you have spent 200,000. So this 200,000, this other 150, how did it, like how you got from your savings, you had your money. For me, I have an app that I've used for years. I found it convenient as Android humans. Andromoney. It's called Andromoney. You can customize it to UGX. You can add accounts that you that you would want. But there are very many apps, there are very many money trackers that, so I'm just going to use the example of what I use. I use Andro Money. So at the end of the day, it even has an alert for me that today you have not put in your expenses. So I put in, it even asks how much I have made. So in the morning, I'm able to track, this is how much money I'm starting the day with, like when I look at my accounts, because you can put in how much money you have in the bank, you can put in how much money you have, either if you say you're saving with a circle, because it is a tracker, like it's like, you know, in actual sense. So at the end of the month, you look at a report. So I am saying that for us who have not been tracking our finances, please start this. I would like us to do that for the month of Feb. Write down how much money you have spent every day, even if you bought PK of 100 shillings, please write it. Then at the end of the month, have a meeting with yourself and evaluate, because that is what, don't open the door. Hi, baby. Have a meeting with yourself and analyze, see your outflows and how much money you have made. Then make decisions based on that. I started buying monthly bundles because of when I tracked my finances and realized I was spending a lot on airtime, on just you buy a bundle of 20 minutes, then it's done. Or the people you are going to call, they all don't pick, then it has expired. So when I was looking at the money I spend on airtime, I realized it makes business sense to pay monthly. Even data, same thing. Like if you're buying daily data, sometimes, of course, depending on which network you're using, sometimes you buy the one for a month and then MTN gives you an alert that you have spent 80%. Some of these things I have stuck to. I will buy the one of 3 days. I find it more effective then. But yes, when you have a meeting, when you evaluate, when you look at your book, then see with the way you have been spending and how you anticipate the year to go, are you on track? Because let me say you pay 6 million in rent a year. But you owe is maybe about 2 million shillings next year or this year. When you divide your finances, because once you've done your budget for a month, then you can just divide it and know how much money you need every month. I'm sorry, calls for work are starting to come in, but it's okay. Then you're able to say, this is how much money I need every month. Now, months will vary. Sometimes there are months that are more expensive than the other, but at least you'll have an overview of, this is how much money I need. This is how much money I am hoping for. This is how much money I'm actually believing God for. Yes, you put land, but how much are you intending to spend on land? Yes, you said you want to have a house. How much money are you intending to spend? Like you're building, let me say, I think that this year I can manage to lay the foundation. How much is it going to cost you? So how much are you going to put aside on a monthly? Am I going to require to get a loan? If I get a loan, how much am I going to be able to pay? Because you have to factor in that. And then in your budget, please, if you know you have debt, include the debt in your budget. Put a payment plan and include it in your budget also, because some of the things that disturb people when they budget is there are things they don't put in, because just be like, it's actually obvious, that one I'll just add it in. And then then the budget has become useless, because that's why you even put miscellaneous for things you did not foresee, so that even when God brings the miracle money, it is directed. Like for me right now, if you surprise me with some money, I know where it's going. Like I know where to put it. That's the thing about budgeting. You know, you may meet someone like, how much to pay? You I want to contribute, and you're like, cause how much do I pay? Because you don't know. you're not tracking your finances. And don't just write your expenses. After you've written your budget, write your inflows. How do you expect to finance this budget? Are we going to run a basket around and say I'm contributing reco? Am I going to look out for a job? Am I the side hustles I'm looking at? Because sometimes you're still hoping for a big job, but there are side hustles that you're going to do that are going to help you even meet certain budgets, you know? Like there are some things for me I do, and I know that this car business sorts out my rent. So this car business sorts out my transport. So that at least on the salary, I'm able to save a bigger percentage than what I would have saved if I don't have any other. Yes. So for budgeting, I will be happy to, once you finish tracking your expenses, I'll be happy for you to for me to have a conversation with you on an individual basis, because I see we are not many, to help you put things in perspective. If you would like that. Yes, so that is it about you budget weekly, monthly, and then annually, and that informs how your finances are going to go. So like I said, just an overview again about budgeting, about like how to start. Record your expenses daily. At the end of the day, have a meeting with yourself and see how much you've brought in and how much went out, and ask yourself crucial questions. Am I on track? Is this the way I'm spending? All the things, am I on track with my financial goals? You know, does the way I handle money, does the way I have handled money, does the way I handle money and my expenditure help me meet my financial goals? If not, what can I do better? Who can I bring on board? Because sometimes if you're doing it as a personal journey, you and you don't have maybe someone to help you track, or a friend to help you track, you keep falling off. So if accountability is what works for you, you can also look for that. And then eventually we need to learn to limit and reduce our debt. Get debt when you know you can pay. Then also get debt for essentials, for assets. If you're at least acquiring debt, if you're getting into debt, at least it should be for an asset. Like you shouldn't be borrowing money to contribute to someone's wedding or to attend a baby shower. No, it's just that's living beyond your means. It means that in that season, you're not able to afford. Maybe all you can bring is vibes. Can the group that you're going for, can they accept what you're offering? Like sometimes you're offering more than money. You can offer your energy, ideas, but don't borrow because I need to attend this baby shower. Don't borrow because I need to attend this event, because events will always come. There are so many. If you don't attend someone's wedding, you will attend their child's wedding. Like just think about it that way. Yes, so I'll take some more, just I see the time. A few questions and then I will conclude. Or any reflections. Rita, I hope that is what you told me to talk about.
Yes, thank you so much. Personally, this year I decided that my side hustle money is going like on a different account. Because for us now we have SDS, like when you go to the field, there's that field allowance they give you. I also decided when they asked for what account, I was like, it can't go to my phone. Let it go to the bank account. And I'm so glad you've echoed it, because I was like, I need to be in control of these finances. I have a lot of money that comes in that is not salary. It's not a lot, but at least it comes in. And I was reflecting upon last year as like, oh God, if I had saved this money, I'd have been a don. If I'd saved a percentage, but it would come because it's not planned for. Sometimes it's a surprise field trip. I just enjoy the vibes. Yeah, so thank you so much. I'm going to be more consistent and telling myself not to, like, I've realized that different accounts have helped. Okay, at least for now, for January, because January always have momentum. Yeah, and I hope to be consistent. So thank you so much for sharing. I've been taking a lot of notes, Kwanga, financially. I'm not doing well. So yeah, thank you so much. I should really there's also black tax Vana and budgeting for black tax. When you said school child, as like, I think it's high time I considered these small school fees contributions that I do. I should add them to my budget. They shouldn't just be a surprise. Yeah, so yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if people have questions. Someone in the comments asked whether the app is called Andro Money.
Yes.
Okay. People, any other questions? And Lily has offered, if you need her to go through with you personally, this would be a good time. Yeah, because she does it at a fee, small fee. So, but now she has given you an offer for free. So capitalize on that. Yeah. And also when you mentioned season, sometimes your budget has to adjust. Thank you so much. I was like, sometimes you just need to the season and accepting which season you're in. Yeah, that was the word. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
don't
I'll
know if
just share a summary, just a few things. And then I'll hand over to you. Sorry. So just a quick, in summary, what we've shared is just know your income, your season, and adjust accordingly. I'm just now going to share just the little things. And then no matter what, please save. Expenses, problems, social life will always be there, but don't be afraid that you're missing out on anything. Please save, put it on the top priority of your list. Another thing to manage is shop in bulk if you're able to, so that you take major control. I know that I had missed that part of shopping in bulk because Rita had mentioned if you start an envelope right now of saving for expenditures of 2025, I do that. So I shop for the first half of my year in January, because I have an envelope that I keep dropping in money. I have an account that I keep saving in money to manage my expenses at the start of the year. Maybe to give a bit of background is because my job in this first half of the year didn't have a lot, like we don't have a lot of clients. So sometimes salary can delay of even up to 3 months. So if you don't do that, you will get frustrated, like you will end up not being able to afford. So I have been doing that for some years now. I save money so that by the time the year starts, I have paid my rent 4 to 5 months, in advance. I have my bills or money for my bills. Like I have a house help. That house help has their salary. I have like my major bills are all sorted, so that I may not have cash at hand, but my bills are sorted. So it is something that that has helped, that even now when money comes, I consider it as a saving, because after that I'm not going to be paying rent 5 months in advance. So if I get in mind that I'm saving for rent, then it helps me go towards saving for an investment sometimes. So yeah, then shopping in bulk also helps you get like affordable stuff or even save. So if you're not able, you can even join with your friends. If you know you have some friends and you may not have money to buy all those things that I'm talking about in bulk, you're going to buy a box of soap. So if you combine your money, you're also able to buy many things at a cheaper price, whether in Chikubo, guys, like for example, ladies, you you go through your piece, just buy a whole pack that takes you through a year, than saying now this brand today has disappeared, I'm going to look for it over where, like things like that. Like be able to budget and plan in advance. So but that starts, for it not to break you, saving for it starts now so that you can implement it later. Because I'm sure right now maybe your budgets are already, if I say now pay your rent 6 months in advance, maybe a treat because you haven't budgeted for it. So all these things we are learning is sometimes to better plan the years ahead. And then the other thing is, please don't eat your seed. Work towards your goals, invest. No, especially you might be in your seed, God is giving you seeds to plant, and you're eating them thinking they are answered prayers to the things you've been lacking. But God is saying, I'm providing for you seed to start on the journey of the wealth that I see you have in the future. But if you eat your seed now, then you delay this process that the Lord is doing in your life. Establish a discipline of thinking twice before you spend. Is this thing important? Is it needed? Like, let me say, ladies, we like to buy clothes, but also we don't like to rebound them, especially party clothes or gomeses, masu, like those traditional stuffs for weddings. So I have found that sometimes I stopped buying gomeses and sukas because I spend so much and then I don't want to be seen in the photo with them again. So I just hire, so that money is not lying around, and I'm also avoiding clutter in my house to have things that I don't wear yet I spent so much money on. So that's also an option you can look at. Then track your finances. Don't just spend without knowledge. Please review your financial statements, even if you're doing, I know we are going cashless. Please review your statements so that you know where your money went. These things are just going and you swipe and pay for everybody's bill. Then at the end of the day, you're shocked that there's no money in your account. Spend with knowledge and review your statements. Learn how to read these financial statements. Yeah. Lastly, yes, they say age is just a number. Plan for your less energetic years, and that planning starts now. Thank you very much, Rita.
Thank you very much, Lily. That was, let me first write that one down, or plan for your less energetic years. 1 minute. Okay. Thank you so much, Lily, for sharing. This has been very, 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 very useful, very insightful. Also, one of the reasons I wanted you to share is because at least I knew you had relatable tips and tricks, and yeah, and I think that's what I've got. I don't know about others, but sometimes if you go to a highly financial person, they may share things you cannot relate to, and then you leave the meeting and you're wondering, so how do we go
More
from here?
traumatized than you went.
I know. There's a time they told us to write down or to calculate our age, how much we should have in our savings. Oh God, it was very, very, I was like, okay. So yeah, so thank you so much. This has been very, very insightful. And as I think one of the take homes is, as someone who has periods every month, why don't you just invest in a bulky, So yeah, I tried it and I think it's been working. Yeah, I should just be consistent because sometimes they get done and I needed to buy the bulk. Also, people have plugs. If you should, Lily, you've not shared any plugs, but in case we need plugs for bulky shopping, I think Lily is the best person for plugs. They will direct you to where you can find people that sell cheaply. Yeah, unless there are any questions, thank you so much, Lily. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Liz is saying, thank you, Lillian. This has been enriching. The interaction in the comment section has also, it shows that people have really benefited from this. Yeah. Thank you so much, people, for
Yes, we
joining.
have benefited.
Even Tasha, who was asking about budgeting. Tasha, now you know you're living on God's budget, but please budget. Yeah. Unless there are any questions, the next session I wanted to bring in someone for land. Yeah, people, the one who sells land to Mufuna and Polas. So yeah, to us who don't have all that money to purchase big land, yeah, I wanted to bring in someone for land. Please, I will put out the details when they come through, and I hope they share practical ways on how you can buy land in this economy, on how you can save. Lydia told us how to save. So now they'll give us the tips and tricks on how we can get land, on how we can know whether it's authentic and all that. So that is the plan for next month. And I hope to see most of you, and I hope it's as interactive. Yeah, I also pray that I get people that give us practical ways in our season, in this current season of ours, where we are not bagging big monies. Yeah. Kale, I will ask Becky if you don't mind to give us a concluding prayer. And we call it a...
At all. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, everybody on the call. Father God, we want to thank you for this morning. We want to thank you for this gathering. We want to thank you for, you've said that where 2 or 3 of us are gathered in your name, there you are, and we could sense your presence, your wisdom, your leading, your guidance. We want to thank you for Lillian and for the experience that you've given her, the experiences that she has had, that she has shared with us, that she has drawn from to call us up higher. I pray for each and every one of us on the call that that our hearts will be fertile ground for this seed to grow and multiply. That will not be just another talk, but that you, Holy Spirit, will lead us to make practical use of this information immediately. I pray that we'll be able to look back on this year and see how this meeting alone enabled us to move from where we are to the places we want to go, to the people we want to become. I pray, oh Lord, that you'll encourage each and every one of us, those that may be feeling down for one reason or other, or maybe for just the state they may find themselves in financially right now. I pray that you'll use this to stir us up to do better, to get better. For the sake of your name, for the sake of your glory, we pray that you'll come alongside us, that we will grow and we'll be able to grow with those around us, to pick up others along the way. We thank you and we bless you. We pray that today will be a blessing to each and every one of us for the things we have to do. I pray that you'll go ahead of us in our travels. I pray that we'll have a great weekend with you. We thank you and we honor you. We've prayed all this in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
And
Thank
thank you, Rita, Lillian.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm going
you,
to try
Rita.
and type these things and see if I can share and people to add whatever notes they took. Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you
making
so
sure
much.
my day starts early.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day. I have recorded. I hope to share with the ones that needed the recording. Kale, have a good...
Rita, you can now go and get the wedding dress for today's wedding.
Please.
Emergency dress.
I don't have an